Hey there, and welcome to the Healing Word of the Week podcast with me, Marissa of Marissa Moments, where you might get triggered into seeing your own reflection, but it's to reconnect you to yourself and awaken the divinity within. So prepare for laughs, resonance, and accountability through true stories, channeled messages, prophetic words, and everything in between. So I hope you're ready because guess what? Here we go. Okay, so the word of the week is connections. Connections. I would spell it out, but it's a long word. Anyway, so what God put on my heart to share with you is we really have to be super hyper aware, cognizant of who our connections are, right? Now, I actually have a group on Facebook, right? And I guess it's a shameless plug if you want it to be. It's called Divine Connections with Marissa Moments. And I have admin and, group monitors or however you want to call it on the page. And something that I've noticed is that they're not apt to kind of kick people out, right? They're not apt to do that. They kind of leave that for me, which is fine. And I get it because they respect that it's technically my group, even though I say it's all of ours, right? The reason I mention that is because I don't tolerate things in that group. Right? If somebody is disrespectful, if somebody puts something that is disrespectful or just inappropriate, right? I make no qualms about it. I kick them out, block them, all the things, right? No, I don't do it to be mean, but I do it because connections matter, right? It is very easy to infiltrate a group or to infiltrate the light with darkness. Here's a secret, right? And I can say this because I know it to be true within myself, which usually if something is true within yourself, then it's true within at least one other individual. So I'm going to put it out there as a little bit of a blanket statement. Now, with that disclaimer aside, I've noticed that it's much easier to fall into the darkness than it is to carry the light, right? You just envision, walk with me on this vision, right? Think about like the Statue of Liberty. She's holding that torch up. Now that equates to you and I, right? As we walk within this light, especially on this healing journey, we oftentimes carry the light for others to see. And you can't carry a light for others to see and have it down dangling by your hip, right? Or by your leg. Because just like if you're holding a flashlight, a match, or anything like that, well, first, if you're holding a match and you got your hand down by your leg, you're probably going to burn your hand. So maybe you want to lift that guy up. But let's go with the flashlight imagery, right? If you're holding a flashlight down at the ground, sure, you might illuminate some steps a little bit, but you're not really going to get that distant light, right? However, if you take that same flashlight and hold it out just in front of you and up higher, then guess what? You're not only illuminating the path for yourself, but you're also illuminating the path for the people that are going to come behind you, right? Now, let's take this same example and say somebody is walking around with a black bag and they are heck bent on covering up that flashlight with that black bag. You might be able to see a little bit through it, but you're not going to have that same light. You're not going to have that same clarity as if you would had you not had that black bag over it. Now, I equate the people that are trying to put that black bag over the flashlight as people and individuals who have malicious intent. People who are sitting so comfortably within their darkness and within their wounds and pains and anger and angst and all those other things that they want to cover your light with that black bag, right? So that's why it's so key that we can't allow just anyone or anything to come around us into our sphere of light. Now, that's not to say that we have to kick out anyone and everyone who might be stuck within their wounds, right? Because everybody has the potential for change. However, and as a side note, yeah, you might hear my kids yelling in the background because it's summer break and this is real life. But let's continue with the message. Let's stay focused. That's a note to self. So as I was saying, I had to pause to get them to hush because it was throwing me off. But anyway, when somebody comes around, back to the point, it's not saying that we have to boot everyone out who's stuck within troubles, right? Because we've all been there. We've all we all will go there, right? Because we all experience troubles at some point in our lives and we get through it, hopefully. And then more troubles come. It's a roller coaster effect. It never ends. I know it is exhausting, but it's possible. And all of that to say that when people around us are sitting within that darkness, right? We don't have to ostracize them. We don't have to kick them to the curb, but we do have to practice boundaries. It is very, very important to understand that not only does that darkness have the potential to try to attempt to snuff out your light, but it has a direct impact on your psyche, right? If you spend all of your time trying to bring other people up who refuse to get up from the ground in which they sit, then you're going to exhaust your arms. You're going to exhaust your body. You're going to exhaust your spirit. You're going to exhaust yourself. So we have to understand that there are certain limitations to this journey, right? The main focus, and it may sound selfish, and maybe it is, but it has to be on yourself. The only healing that can be done is within self. We can't force a healing on someone else, no matter how badly we may want to. We can't force people to see the beauty that resides within them when they refuse to see it in themselves. Sure, we can remind them every now and then. Sure, we can try to do what we can when we can. But listen, and again, this might sound selfish, but it cannot be at the extreme detriment of you. Because then what happens in that point is that you rob yourself and future people that you may encounter from the potential of being illuminated by your light because you've been so absorbed by someone else's darkness. Now I'm getting back to the word connections. I haven't forgot about that, no matter how distracted I get. The bottom line to this is we have to be completely aware and cognizant of who we surround ourselves with. Have you ever heard the saying, you're judged by the company you keep? Well, that is sad, but true, right? The people that we surround ourselves, the reason why people often judge us by those people is because we're typically reflections of the ones that we hold nearest and dearest, right? And again, this isn't to say that you have to push everybody to the curb or you have to be like, Mom, Dad, you got to go because your negativity is killing my shine, right? I'm not suggesting that. I'm not saying that you have to kill the roster, right? I'm not saying that you have to do any of those things. Now, I just became hyper aware that I said kill the roster. Now, let's just be clear. As an aside, the rules within this journey are to cause no intentional harm to self or one another. Okay, so now back to the point. Connections. Who are your friends? Who are your mentors? Who are the people that you are surrounding yourself with? If they are stuck within their own tar of pain and refuse to get up out of it, then maybe you need to reevaluate. Again, that does not mean I'm not here telling you that you have to cut out people out of your life just cold turkey and be like, yo, you're bringing me down, Linda. And if your name is Linda, I love you. That name just popped into my head, right? No blame or shame to any Lindas, right? We have to be aware of our connections because it will also dictate our ability to grow, our ability to ascend. We tether ourselves to the people that we surround ourselves with. And if they are in a state of refusal, then guess what's going to eventually happen to you? They always say, I don't know who they is, but I've always heard like the phrase of you want to know where you're going to be 5 years from now or how your life is going to look. Look at the people around you, right? What are they doing? And if you're happy and content with where you are, then just forget everything I'm saying. This message is not for you. And that is a beautiful thing though, too, right? Let's stop and acknowledge that if you're satisfied with where you are and you have no, I don't want to say drive because that sounds like really condescending, but if you have no desire to do anything else because you feel extremely content with where you are, then blessings to you. I'm not here to blame or shame anyone, but I am here to remind you of who you are and your divine potential. And it's not even just potential. It's just returning back to who you truly are before the world's programming, before the generational curses and trauma and toxicity and victimization and all of these things have happened, right? And stripping away all the bullpucky and getting back to who you divinely, innately are, organically, authentically. It's no longer wearing masks for the sake of others. And to take that even further, no longer wearing a mask so that you can fit in with your connections that are in fact not even good for you, right? So let's just be aware. What I want you to do from this podcast, from this message, is start thinking about the people you surround yourself with and in what capacity are you there for them and are they there for you? Is it a healthy relationship? Is it a healthy dynamic or a connection, right? Because this all matters. Are you the guiding force and the guiding light for others? And are you allowing others to put that black bag over your proverbial flashlight as you try to lead a journey of healing and ascension for others to follow? And it's not saying that you're specifically identifying an individual and saying, come along with me for this walk and for this journey, right? Because when it comes down to having a following or having friends that walk along with you or any of the same similar type suits, it's all about them making the conscious decision, being mindful and understanding that, listen, if we're going to go on this healing journey, then you have to walk with me. It isn't about me carrying you. Sure, there might be times where somebody needs a little boost, right? But it's not because of lack of effort, or lack of awareness, right? It's because we all have our struggles, as I've mentioned previously. We all have our moments. Sometimes we sit down and we have to cry. We ball up. We have to cry. We get in the shower. We have to cry. But guess what? At the end of that good cry, at the end of those frustrations, of that anger, of that rage, of that whatever, we get to the source of it, and then we pick ourselves up and we continue on the journey and we continue to carry the light. The most important thing is to remember not to sit within that darkness for too long, because as I mentioned before, it can get very comfortable. It's easy to be in darkness. It's easy to be negative. It's easy to pass judgment on others. Sometimes, let's be real, it's even fun, right? We get a little kiki out of it. But at the end of the day, we have to remember that it's the light that causes ascension. It's the light that moves us into new places and spaces. It's the light that allows that growth, right? I don't know. Listen, I'm not a botanist. I don't know about plants or anything like that, but I feel like more plants grow in the light than they do in the darkness. Now, I'm not talking about the roots. I mean, roots grow in the dirt and all that type of stuff, but I'm talking about the plants, the life form, right? So be that light. And be aware of what connections you are fostering and maintaining and pursuing. Because sometimes our trauma, our toxic patterns, and our toxic past will tell us to pursue the people that are the darkest for our intentions and journeys. And we have to heal enough and use our healed discernment to start moving away from that pattern. But I'm not going to keep going on and on. Hopefully you picked up what I'm putting down, because yes, this message is for you. And if it resonates for a friend or a family member, use your common sense, folks. Don't send this out to somebody who's going to be like, what you talking about? What you mean? Let's not do that, right? Let's avoid that drama and trauma. Look, I just combine two words, but let's avoid all of that nonsense. Let's stay focused on our own personal growth, healing, and ascension. And in the meantime, helping others along the way when and if we can and where we can. And let's continue to heal. Let's continue to be mindful. Let's continue to be aware and cognizant of our connections and as it relates to where we wish to go, and not where we are or where we used to be. right? So that's it for now. Don't forget to check out the archives if you feel like you need a little bit more of a boost within the week. New podcasts come out every single Monday morning, 5:55 a.m. Central Standard Time, United States. It's released all over different podcast streaming services, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, iHeart, all the different things. So just remember when you look me up, because let's be friends, y'all. Let's be friends. Look me up on social media or for the podcast. It is Marissa Moments. And remember, that is Marissa with one S, because why? There's only one me. So until next time, I wish you the best week ever. I hope that you are ascending. I pray that you are finding clarity, wisdom, guidance, love, light, all the things. I pray that this week is amazing for you. And if it tries not to be amazing, you figure out a way to make it amazing, and you figure out all the solutions to any potential problems, and that you focus on the solutions over the problems. I pray that you are able to ascend. I pray that you are able to discern who is for you and who is trying to tether you to the you of yesterday. I pray that you are using your wisdom and you are seeing the signs that God is putting out there for you to guide you. I pray that you are receiving your own internal validation, and that you are no longer seeking validations from outside sources or from other people. I pray that you continue to celebrate yourself, and that you applaud yourself for even the smallest step towards your ascension and your healing. I pray that you don't allow anyone else to make you look at yourself in a negative light, or sit in a seat of judgment of self. I pray that you are continuing to ascend, and that you are continuing to win, and that you are walking into this winning season with eyes open and energy to continue the climb. So in Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. So I will see you next time. Happiest of healings, apples and tomatoes and all the things. And bye.